So that was the first story. And the second story that I did almost a week later, that's the story, that same weekend when I was in the taxi and these guys are talking about how they bought their ID books at Home Affairs in Harrison Street and Market Street. So I went to Harrison Street, I stood outside and the guys were coming and said, photo. And I said, no, I don't want the photo, I want an ID book. And the guy said to me, are you Makorakwera? I said, yes. So he comes in, he called this guy, and then the guy came in and said, you want an ID book, it's gonna cost you $2,000. I said, fine. He said, why? For myself from Zimbabwe. I said, fine. So they took my photo with all of that. And then the same day I got, I don't know what, that proof that now we have applied for an ID book, we can use that to open an account, and because it's got the rough ID number and all of that. I got that and my ID book was going to be ready in 4 days. So we published this story about how I bought my ID book from Home Affairs. On that Monday, the former Home Affairs DG, his name is Albert Mkwena, was on 702, saying I'm an irresponsible journalist, went around bribing his officials to send me an ID book and all of that. And I didn't force anyone to send me. I said I want an ID book, and some guy said it's going to cost me 2,000 rand, and I paid for it. That's the price the ID book was offered. So for me, I was like, who's this guy who's trying to defend corruption? He's a DG. He's supposed to be acting against those officials for being in this ID racket scam. So I started doing a research about him. Who's this Albert Mkwena? So people were telling me he's from Soweto. He owns a basketball team. I said, okay. So I went to the basketball website, and I looked at the profile of his team. The contact details were 011 for the telephone number, and the fax was 011. And I picked up the phone, I phoned that number. The woman answered, Home Affairs DG's office, may I help you? I said, yeah, I'm a basketball player, I need to speak to Mr. Mkwena. And I said, no, Mr. Mkwena is busy right now, we can fax us your CV. She gave me the same fax that was listed on the website. So now I had a proof that this guy was running a basketball team from his office. So now I had to get the former Minister of Home Affairs at the time was Mangosuthu Buthelezi, to ask him whether I gave this guy permission to run a basketball team from his office. When I managed to pin down the minister said, I was not even aware that he owns a basketball team, he didn't declare that to me. So we ran a story that this Home Affairs DG is running a basketball team from his office and never got any permission from anybody. Then again, I went back to that website. I started looking at the profile of all the players. There were 3 players that caught my attention. One player, Boniface Kabongo, place of birth, Middle and Soweto. Okay? Next player, Humphrey Mapulango, place of birth, Middle and Soweto. Third player, Billy Banda, place of birth, Middle and Soweto. Like, no. There must be some mistake somewhere, somehow. So I started going to the basketball games. Like I started training to play basketball because I wanted to get closer to these guys. So I started studying the character of those 3 players, and I realized that Boniface was the weakest one. So in the meantime, I was also doing research on who are these guys, where are they coming from, and I found out they were all coming from Zambia. They used to play for the Zambian national basketball team. I phoned the Zambian official. They sent me a letter that these guys are wanted in Zambia because they were stolen by Mr. Mkwena from there. So one day after the practice, I cornered Boniface Kabongo. I said, dude, we came here using fake papers, and I cannot report this to the police unless you talk to me and tell me what really happened. And he said, no, I want to talk to an official about what happened. Brought in an official from public service to sit down, and he explained the story. He said, look, Mr. Mkwena saw us playing basketball from wherever he saw us. He sent a message to us in Zambia. He said, must come to South Africa. He'll give us South African citizenship. we must play for his team. And then these are the passport. I came here with this passport number. This one came with this passport number. And he started crying, narrating the whole story. So we wrote a story about how Home Affairs DG, like, bent the rules, gave his own guys, these guys, to come and play for his team and gave them South African citizenship, which they didn't deserve. And there was a commission of inquiry, and they found him guilty, and they opted to resign just the day when the information, the report was given to the minister. So this is how I managed to do my work, like what my grandfather told me, to take the gun, shoot the lion, and not to take the knife and not take the gun to shoot them. So it's been very interesting journey, I mean, from shaking the hand of Tony again, it was very funny because I phoned Tony, was on a Thursday, and I said, I need to talk to you about the story we're doing about the arms deal. And he said, wow, come to see me in my office in Parliament. Flew down to Parliament, shook his hand, he said, my hand is sweating. And I said, I look at my hand, my hand is dry. I said, no, I'm not sweating, you're the one who's sweating, and all of that. So, and then he says to me, I've been advised not to talk to you. I said, but you let me fly all the way from Johannesburg just to tell me that you've been advised not to talk to me. He said, no, a car has got a paper trail if there's something wrong with my car. But he waived something like a bank deposit. Say, see, I'm paying for my car every month. You see, yes. I said, can I see it? He didn't want to give it to me. So that we didn't know what's the reg number of the car. That's the other thing. So for us to have a paper trail of that car. I flew down to Parliament again. I went to the parking bay where he normally parks his car, and it was not there. And I was so disappointed. I was walking back to the hotel, and I was speaking to my colleagues on the phone. I'm like, guys, I'm from there. The car is not there, so I don't know what to do, As I'm walking in, there's the car, it's coming. Stopped at the robot is red. And I just read the reg number of the car to my colleague. So the car is just stopped in front of me. The reg number is CA28, I think 284 or something like that. So now we had the reg number. We started trying to follow exactly this car. And we found out Tony has been driving the car was almost 6-7 months. Didn't pay a cent, not even a deposit, nothing. So that was an investigation that took us. We started doing the investigation in December. The first story was published on the 21st of March. That's how long it took us to make sure the paper trail is correct, make sure we got the right information, because we didn't want to get anything wrong. So, and that's the story that ended up taking Tony to jail, because he became like the first victim of the arms deal, because that car was part of the arms deal corruption. So all those years, and I thought I've seen it all, I thought I've investigated all the bad guys and not so bad guys and all of that, until we started investigating the former Minister of Communication, Diana Pula. And that's when I realized that I haven't seen nothing yet. So it is sad, because I've known Sister Diana from Bushbuckridge. She's from Bushbuckridge. We used to belong to the youth league together, I remember the first ANC Youth League conference at Siyabusa in former Andebele homeland, where the representatives from Bushbuckridge of the Youth League went there and all of that. And now there was this scandal about her. So I said to the guys, I don't want to speak to you, my colleague Stefan and Rob. I said, you guys must speak to you, And I explained to them why I don't want to, because, So we worked on everything that we got about her, flying Ben 10 around, taxpayers' money and all of that. The day we published the the story, I got a phone call from Jomo Son. He said to me, no, I'm in Santin, I met Posana, and he says, the minister wants to meet you because she knows you from Pushpakris and she wants you to hear a side of the story. So I said to Jomo, I said, I can't make that decision. Let me liaise with my colleagues, Stefan and Rob, and see whether they're okay that I must meet with her or not. So we're this WhatsApp group where like whatever we talk, so I WhatsApp them and say, guys, I just got this phone call. They say the minister wants to meet, and they say, oh, okay. Well, hear the side of the story, you know. Go there, I met with her, and honestly, I told her, like, I'm very disappointed in her, you know, for looking forward that she representing Bushbuckridge very well, honestly, and all of that. So we talked about this. She asked for the meeting to be completely off the record, which I agree. We agreed. Like before I even left, we agreed, my colleague, that okay, I respect that the meeting is off the record. So until when she was cornered and exposed, she called a press conference just next to our office at the Hyatt, where she said I had like a cell phone company exporting cheap cell phones from China, and my colleague Stefan planted a spy in the office, and Robert friend, and all of that was nonsense. And I remember that day when Stephen Crotters from 702 phoned me for comment about this thing, and I said to Stephen, you know, it's very simple, you know. The minister is just trying to circumcise a mosquito, you know. That's how I can tell, because she's trying to do the impossible, you know. So, because the point is, you know, you can't accuse people by lying, you know. You know, you can go to Cipro. I don't own any company. Like if ever I had a company, cell phone company, we're supposed to apply for a license from a department. That's why my boss said to her, produce the evidence, you know, if that Mzilikazi owns any cell phone company, because I don't own any. The point of the matter, it was your boyfriend who went to Jomo and asked Jomo to facilitate the meeting between you and I. I didn't go looking for it, you know. So the sad part of that exercise was that some of our colleagues in the media industry believed their lies, as they printed it as a gospel truth. She ran a smear campaign of note, you know, calling editors to secret meetings where she would just tell them all sort of rubbish. And some of them believed it. And it was only when the public protector's report came out that most of them started seeing the truth, how they were played, how they were fooled, how they were taken for a ride. So, in this game of investigative or game of journalism, you have to be careful of your sources. It is our policy that whenever we meet a source, after that meeting we start investigating that source to find out, is he or she trying to play us to win a tender, perhaps character assassinate the next person maybe because it's a business rival and stuff like that. It is very crucial that whenever you meet a source, you must find out who they are, what are their interests, so that you're not getting played. Because it must never be used as a blunt instrument as a journalist to fight personal vendetta, to do character assassination of people. You must be objective. You must write what you can prove, what you can stand in court and show the magistrate or the judge that I'm based this information based on this information document and stuff like that. So, since the book came out on the 4th of August, 2010, I believe now it's on the 4th reprint. I really want to thank everyone who went all out to try and get a copy of this book. Support me. Some of you didn't even know me from above, so we just heard my story. And I really feel honored for people to, I'm a first time writer, came up with this book, and boom, the book is getting sold out, left, right, and center. And I really appreciate it, and I really thank you, everyone who's got a copy of this book, everyone who's going to buy this book, and everyone, even those who intend not to buy it, thank you, because now you know about it. So I think, okay, Roux Shabangu and Bheki Cele. See, this is what happened. A police officer working at the police head office, he went to the fax machine and he saw this 4-page document that the former national commissioner was negotiating a lease in this building owned by Mr. Roux Shabangu. He made the copies of the four pages and gave it to a friend of mine. He said, I smell a rat here. So the friend of mine phoned me and said, you don't want to know, I don't have to tell you where I got this thing from, but the guy said I must give it to you. So we look at this whole thing and see that the police are moving to a new building. But the way in which they are trying to do it is not right, because public works, there was no need assessment. You see, if police have got a running lease at Vaches where they are now, but the excuse that they said that was an emergency because the World Cup was coming. That's why they have to move to this new building. That's where the communication department of the police will be operating from during the course of the World Cup and all of that. And then we're like, because the treasury rule said, unless it's an emergency, you are allowed to. But we said the World Cup was not an emergency. When it was announced that South Africa would be the next country to host the World Cup, it was not like they announced it today and they said tomorrow is the World Cup. They announced it years before to give us preparation, to give us time to build and finish our stadiums. So we cannot use that you need to move into this building because it's an emergency. So I remember we phoned the former commissioner, to say, we are doing this story. I said, you signed this list. And he said, Buti, every Tuesday I sit in my office, I just sign things that I put on my table. I said, but didn't you know what you're signing? He said, I don't prepare all those documents. I said, but it's your signature at the end. They say, approved by. And they said, no, but anyway, we need to move out of Vaches. I said, he said, you don't understand, Vaches, when it's raining, it's like Mississippi. I have to swim all the way to my office. I'm like, but, how many years now? It's 4 years now, down the line, 2010, they're still there at Vaches, and no one is drowned as far as I know. So, the other thing we find out, not only they want to move to the building owned by Roux Shabangu here in Pretoria. Roux Shabangu was seen in Devon trying to buy a building where he wanted to force the police to move into. And the same signatures appear, the same former National Police Commissioner signed and approved them. We're like, who is this Roux Shabangu, Why is he getting all this special preference? So we phoned him for comment. And this lawyer sent us a letter, so Roux Shabangu is a friend of the president. And that Roux Shabangu was being invited as a VIP guest at the president's inauguration. So I don't know whether by then they were trying to scare us or they were trying to say maybe Roux Shabangu has got a blessing or some kind. So we published the story on a Sunday, and I was arrested on a Wednesday. So on a Tuesday evening, I just got this phone call from a journalist in newspaper. I want to check whether you've been arrested yet. Arrested yet? For what? said, no, there's a room in the province that you are arrested, not you're gonna be arrested. So I spoke to Sue Smith in our office. She's like the in-house legal person. I explained about the phone call, and they phoned the lawyer. Said, "Who want to arrest you for what?" I said, "I don't know." And then they said, "Are you scared? If you're scared, don't come to work tomorrow." I said, "No, I'm coming to work tomorrow. I haven't done anything wrong." So I came to work, and there I was arrested. So I was called for my desk. I was told that we are walking to Roux Shabangu police station, which is just down the road from our office, where I'm supposed to hand myself over, be charged, given a bail, and go back to the office and work. So good. I walk out, my lawyer and the police, but the thing that surprised me was why do the police carrying guns and all of that, like I'm a gangster or a criminal of some sort. So as we were walking to Roux Shabangu police station, then come this Iveco car, and then I was just bundled and pushed into that car. Boom! They took me away. I'm trying to find out what's happening, where we're going, and all of that. No one is giving me an answer. We're on our way to Pretoria when we're about to get to Woodmead. Those guys received a phone call that no, must go back to my house, where they must search my house. Made a U-turn, so I asked the guys, "Do you need direction to my house?" They said, "Oh, don't worry, we know where you live." So we go there, and they said to me, they're looking for a briefcase full of documents, very sensitive documents. And I'm like, "Hey guys, be my guest. I don't have any briefcase full of sensitive documents in my house. You can search." They searched and searched, they didn't find any briefcase full of documents. And then I was taken from my house to Pretoria, Hawks Head office. From the Hawks Head office, we're taken to, I was supposed to go to Nelspruit, but just as we get to Waterfall Boven, the guys were taking me there. Took a detour. When we arrived at Waterfall Boven, the guy who arrested me, Colonel Chris Mabaza, he said to me, "You know what? We thought about this, discussed this with these guys, These guys want you dead, and I won't sleep well at night knowing that I was part of that. So for your own safety, I'll leave you here at Waterfall Boven police station. I've done my job. I brought you here to Mpumalanga. I said I must bring you to Mpumalanga. I've done my job. But I won't take you to Nelspruit, because if you die there, I won't sleep well at night." I said, "One thing for me, please promise me that don't drink anything, don't eat anything, because they're going to poison you." So they left me there, the Waterfall Boven police station. It was about 6. At about 9 p.m., 2 plainclothes old police officers came. They said, "We're here to fetch you." They said, "We must bring you down to Nelspruit." They took me to Nelspruit, to the office of the Hawks boss, General Leroy Mapian, where I was asked about, basically, he said to me why I'm writing stories about, he said, "Look, Mzilikazi, there are 9 provinces. Why are you writing about Mpumalanga?" I'm like, is that a crime, And then he said to me, "You've written a story that the premier of this province has resigned." I said, "Look, man, here's your laptop. Just Google and show me that story, because I've never written such a story. To this day, there's no such a story written by myself that the premier of this province has resigned." They tried to interrogate me, and they said to me, "You know what? We've prepared a statement for you. Just sign it. It will make things well for you. You'll be released tomorrow on bail." And I said to him, "Dude, do I look stupid or a moron to you? I'm not going to sign this. I haven't done anything wrong. If you want to lock me in. I don't even want to touch your statement. I don't want to read it. Don't want to see what you've said in your statement." Like at about 2 or 3 in the morning, I was taken to Nelspruit police station. And the following morning on the 5th, my lawyer managed to find out where I was, and he came in, and that's why he brought the newspapers, and that's where I realized how my arrest shocked the country. Everyone was outraged about it, because that was a direct violation of the Constitution. direct abuse of power. And 3 state prosecutors that morning, they told the investigating officer, we can't put this case on hold because this guy's got no case to answer. But the investigating officer was told that he must take me in, must take me by hook or crook. I mean, my lawyer asked the police, said, since you guys don't have a case for now as far as the state prosecutors are concerned, can you release this guy in my care as his lawyer? Whenever I need him in court, I'll bring him. They said, no, he must stay inside. That's when then we had to go to the High Court in Pretoria to apply for interdict for me to be released because there was no case that was brought. And the matter was withdrawn, and I sued the state successfully. And funny enough, the process when I filed the lawsuit against the state, I received a phone call from the same guy who arrested me. Actually, he phoned me on my birthday, and he said to me, I've got a birthday present for you. I said, what's the business? He said, they say I must tell you that you must drop the case and they'll give you 8 million rand to walk away. And I said to him, dude, I didn't sue the state because I want any money from them. I sued them because it's a matter of principle. And I want the Minister of Police to acknowledge that my arrest was wrongful and unlawful. And that's all I want. I just want a letter of an apology, and I want them to call a press conference to apologize for what they've done to me. I don't want any money from them. And guy walk away. That was November, my birthday. In December, he called me again. I met him at the airport, and he told me, he said, you know what, I left in Mpumalanga, and I think I need to tell you what exactly went down. And that's when he confessed. They tried to kill him because he failed to do whatever they asked him to do. Firstly, before they tried to kill him, they burned down his office. But the idea is that they'll burn down his office so that they can open a case that I burned that office to destroy evidence. So, and then he refused to make a statement that I burned that because he knew that I don't even know where his office is or was. After that, they went with AK-47. They fired 8 bullets were fired at his house. That's when he resigned from the police, and they realized that it's not what he wanted to do. Then he went to join Home Affairs. So now I had his confession of what happened, and he gave me names of other people who can corroborate whatever I said. Until one day, I received this phone call from a guy. He said, "You want to meet me?" So I meet him in Woodmead with my colleague Stefan, and then he said to me, "I want you must thank me for saving your life." I said, "Why must you thank you?" He said, "Remember the day you were arrested?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "I was there at your house. And remember when you were taken to your bedroom, the other 4 police officers went to the other side of the house, and I was one of those 4. The whole idea was to plant drugs at your house so they can charge you for drug dealing or possession. And I fought with those guys. I said, you guys must not do this. If you do that, I'll go public about it." And then I said, "Thanks, but why did you do that?" He said to me, "Maybe you don't know or even notice, a few years ago there was a young man who came to you. He said to you, you need to go and trace his father. He only knows that his father is somewhere in Destined. You didn't know this young man. He came to you, he told you his story. You were so touched by this story that you gave him 2,000 rand to go to Destined and go and trace his father and all. It touched me. I was with him. So that, what you did 4 years ago, that's what made me protect you when those guys wanted to plant the drugs in your house. And as I'm talking to you now, I've been fired from the police because they went there and reported that I'm the one who stopped them from planting drugs in your house. But I don't care because I've done the right thing and I can sleep well at night. So that's what happened, when people abuse power and all of that. So it so happened that I went to Durban and I bumped into the former commissioner of Bheki Cele. Firstly, he ignored me. He saw me, he walked past me, and then a few steps back, he stopped and he walked back. And I said, okay, I think we need to talk. I said, about what? He said, why can't we meet for dinner so we can talk about it? I said, fine. He gave me the date and the venue. I went there with my colleague Stefan, and they said, I really want to apologize because I was misled. But he didn't want to tell me who misled him and to what extent. But I mean, for a man to be so brave enough to come to you and say, I'm sorry, it means something, Whether it's coming from the bottom of his heart or from the tip of his lips, I don't know, but that's what he said. So we talked about the whole thing, and still he didn't want to go into details, but he just said, no, I was misled. That's all I want you to know, and I'm really sorry for what we did. And again, on the 3rd of August, just the day before the book came out, I got this message that the Premier of Mpumalanga wanted to see me. It's very urgent. I didn't see the Premier since, so I had breakfast with my boss. It was on a Sunday. I said, the Premier said, send messages that you want to see me. What's your take? And my boss said, go down and see him, because if you don't, you'll say maybe try to reach out, and he didn't want to open up for him. I went down to Nelspruit. I met there with the Premier, and he also said, I'm sorry, I was misled. By who? He doesn't want to say. To what extent he was misled? Still, but all he said is sorry for whatever role he played in my arrest. So I don't know who must be blamed for that for now, because everyone is sorry was misled by someone that I don't know, and for what I still don't know. So, I mean, in a nutshell, that's what this book captures. The story of my life, my journey as an investigative journalist with the Sunday Times, things I've been through, things that happened behind the scenes that most guys were not aware of when you're reading the Sunday Times. I try to just explain things, how some stories were investigated, the challenges that we went through, we faced, everything that went through, just for you guys to understand that investigative journalism is not all moonlight and roses. It's very tough. And if you're not brave enough, you won't last. And I managed to last for more than 15 years or so. And I've never been sued. My career, I've never been sued. I've written about 2 apologies. It says a record. One apology, we wrote an apology, but when the public protector investigated, confirmed that our story was 100% correct. It was a story about Stella Skreko. The press movement ruled against us because he said there was not enough evidence that the former minister, the late minister, went to see his girlfriend in Switzerland. Even though we sent the press movement a tape recording of the minister's girlfriend, who was in jail at the time. In the tape, the girlfriend says, "Can you believe it? This guy comes here to visit me and he comes with his other girlfriend." Then the press ombudsman ruled that it was not enough information to say that the minister was there. But when the public protector interviewed the woman, she said, yes, he did come. He did come here, and he came with this woman, and this is what happened. So that's my story, ladies and gentlemen. And I'll open now to my guest to
The University of Johannesburg. Rethink, reinvent.